Have you ever scratched at an itch that just won't quit? Maybe on your armpit or somewhere more private, and brushed it off as no big deal. Only to wonder later if it's trying to tell you something? You're not alone, and if you're over 60 or love someone who is, this could be a wake-up call you can't ignore. Today we're diving into a topic that hits hard. 3 itchy spots on the elderly's body that might whisper or scream that their time could be running short. These aren't just random annoyances. They're red flags, subtle SOS signals from your body that could point to serious trouble brewing beneath the surface. Stick with me until the end, because by the time we're done, you'll know how to spot these danger zones, what they might mean, and most importantly, what you can do to take charge before it's too late. This isn't about fear, it's about power. The power to act, to protect yourself or someone you care about. Trust me, the last spot we'll cover, it's the one most people miss, and it could change everything. Before we jump in, if you're ready to get ahead of these sneaky health hints and keep your loved ones thriving, smash that like button. It fuels me to keep digging up these life-saving lessons. New here? Hit subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss a beat. If this hits home, comment number 1 below. If it's not your vibe, drop a number 0 so I can tweak it next time. Let's get rolling. Picture this. You're 60 plus, maybe feeling a little slower, a little creakier, and suddenly there's this itch, persistent, nagging, like a mosquito bite that won't fade. You slather on lotion, switch soaps, maybe even grumble about dry skin or the weather, but it sticks around. For most of us, itching's just part of life, nothing to write home about. But here's the kicker. When it lingers in certain spots after 60, it's not always innocent. Research and plain old real-world stories shows that lifestyle beats genetics in the longevity game, and these itchy patches, they're like your body's smoke alarm blaring when something's off. I'm not saying every scratch is a death sentence, don't panic, but ignoring them could mean missing a chance to catch trouble early. Today, we're zeroing in on 3 spots: the armpits, the anal area, and the lower legs. Each one's tied to conditions that, left unchecked, could shave years off your life. And I'll weave in some tales, like my Uncle Ray's armpit saga or Mrs. Lena's leg mystery, to show you how this plays out in real life. Ready? Let's dive into the first itchy danger zone. Start with your armpits. Ever had an itch there that feels like it's mocking you? Scratching only makes it mad? For seniors, this isn't just about sweat or a cheap deodorant. Persistent armpit itching can be a sneaky sign of diabetes, a condition that's no joke when you're over 60. High blood sugar doesn't just mess with your energy or your diet, it throws your skin's whole system out of whack. Nerves get twitchy, sweat glands slack off, and your armpits turn into a dry, itchy battlefield. Add a few extra pounds and it's worse. Sweat pools there, bacteria and fungi throw a party, and the itching ramps up, especially in the dry chill of fall or winter. My Uncle Ray, 67, learned this the hard way. He'd scratch under his shirt all day, laughing it off as old man skin, until he dropped 10 pounds out of nowhere and started feeling wiped out. I nagged him to see a doctor, mostly because I was tired of hearing him complain, and boom, diabetes. That itch wasn't just dry skin. It was his body begging for help. The doc said it's common. About 1 in 3 diabetics get skin gripes, and armpits are prime real estate for it. No rash, no bumps, just this relentless tickle that lotion couldn't touch. For seniors, this is a big deal. Diabetes can hit your heart, kidneys, even your eyesight if you let it fester. Ray's lucky. He caught it early, tweaked his diet, and got moving. That itch? Fading now. Imagine if he had ignored it. Years lost, all because of a scratch he didn't take seriously. Next time you're clawing at your armpits, think twice. It's not always the weather. Sometimes it's a warning. Check your sugar. See a doc. Don't wait. It's a small step that could add decades. Now, let's shift south, way south, to the anal area. Yeah, it's awkward, but we're going there because this itch can be a beast, and it's not just about hygiene or a bad wipe. Persistent anal itching in seniors can flag trouble like hemorrhoids, fistulas, or, worst case, rectal or anal cancer. It starts small, maybe a little tingle after a bathroom trip, but if it digs in and won't quit, especially at night, it's more than a nuisance. Hemorrhoids swell veins until they're screaming. Fistulas leak and irritate. Cancer creeps in with bleeding or pain that won't let up. My old neighbor, Mr. Carl, 72, dealt with this nightmare. He'd shuffle around, wincing, saying it was just age. But I'd catch him shifting in his chair, miserable. One day he fessed up. The itching kept him awake, and he'd seen blood. I dragged him to the clinic, half expecting a hemorrhoid fix, but the doc found a fistula. Surgery was rough, but it saved him from worse. Cancer was on the table if he'd waited. Studies say up to 10% of anal cancer cases kick off with itching, no rash, just this stubborn burn. For seniors, this is brutal. Your body's weaker, recovery's slower, and embarrassment keeps too many quiet. Carl's fine now, but he wishes he'd spoken up sooner. Night sweats, weight loss, or blood with that itch. Run, don't walk, to a doctor. It's not just discomfort, it's your lifespan on the line. Ignoring it's like handing time to the reaper. Then there's the lower legs. Ever felt them itch like they're crawling, especially when the air turns crisp? For seniors, this could scream hypothyroidism, or your thyroid's too lazy to pump out hormones. Metabolism slows, skin dries out, and your legs turn into a rough, scaly mess that tingles and begs to be scratched. Mrs. Lena, 69, from my church, ignored this for months. She'd rub her shins raw, blaming winter, until her hair thinned and she couldn't stay warm. I'd see her at Sunday service, pale and shivering, and finally asked what was up. "Just old legs," she'd say. But I pushed. She saw a doc, and blood tests showed her thyroid was tanking. Dry skin's normal as you age, sure, but this? Different. No redness, just parched, cold patches that lotion couldn't fix. Docs say hypothyroidism hits 10 to 15% of folks over 60, and untreated, it clogs arteries, tires your heart, shortens your clock. Lena's on meds now, itching's down, and she's got her spark back. Imagine her skipping that checkup. Her heart could have given out. Lower leg itching that won't quit, especially with fatigue or cold feet. Get it tested. It's not just skin deep, it's your life's fuel gauge. Let's unpack this a bit more. Why these spots? Why now? After 60, your body's like a vintage car. Still runs, but the parts wear thin. Skin's your first line, and when it's screaming, it's not always about soap or seasons. Armpits tie to diabetes because sugar messes with nerves and moisture. Anal itching flags gut or cancer risks because that's where your body's plumbing gets dicey. Lower legs hint at thyroid trouble because circulation and hormones slack off down there. I've seen it play out. My Aunt May scratched her armpits for years, diabetic and clueless, until a stroke took her at 64. My buddy Joe's dad ignored anal itching, landed with rectal cancer, gone at 71. My own grandma dodged a bullet. Her leg itch led to thyroid meds, and she's 82, still kicking. These aren't just itches, they're your body's Morse code. Decode it, act fast, and you're the boss of your years. So what's the deal with persistent? Normal itching, say from a bug bite or new laundry detergent, fades with a fix. This stuff? It's stubborn, sneaky, showing up out of nowhere and laughing at your creams. No rash, no obvious trigger, just a gnawing itch that's worse in winter or at night. Lymphoma can do this too. 20% of cases itch like mad, says science, but we're sticking to our 3 spots today. My point? If it's been weeks, if it's paired with weird stuff like weight loss or sweats, don't shrug it off. I learned this watching my old boss, Mr. Hank, 65, scratch his legs raw. Aging, he'd grunt, but he'd doze off mid-meeting. Hypothyroidism caught late. Heart issues cut him short at 68. Early checks could have flipped that script. Here's how to fight back. Don't just scratch and hope. Armpit itching? Watch for thirst, fatigue, blurry vision. Diabetes flags. Test your sugar, cut the junk food, move more. Anal itching? Look for blood, pain, bowel shifts. See a doc, even if it's awkward. Lower legs, cold hands, thinning hair, sluggishness. Thyroid's calling. Get blood work, tweak your diet, stay warm. My cousin Lila, 62, caught her leg itch early. Thyroid meds and she's hiking again. Small moves, big wins. Moisturize, sure. Dry skin's real in autumn. But if it's deeper, dig for the root. Docs aren't guessing games anymore. They've got tests to nail this stuff. Let's wrap this with a truth. These itches aren't your enemy. They're your allies, shouting when silence could kill. Uncle Ray's armpits, Carl's anal woes, Lena's legs, they're proof you can turn warnings into action. The lesson: listen to your body, act fast, live long. Don't let a scratch steal your years. Check it, fix it, own it. What's your takeaway? Drop it in the comments. I'm all ears. Love this? Hit like, subscribe, ring that bell. Let's keep cracking these health codes together. See you next time.